Welcome back after this quick pause. We've just witnessed, I want to say, the most explosive game up until this point. It's been a good performance from multiple teams. We've got to highlight France and obviously Turkey at the very top of all things. Turkey especially, if we want to touch on them, didn't look like a good start. I think they actually were the first team in that entire round to lose a player, but we're the only team, I think, to get double digits eliminations at the end of it. Walk me through this, Kovo. How the hell did that happen?
I think that's crazy. I think what they were able to achieve there is crazy. I think they win the hot drop, right? Barely. They get themselves 3 kills there. They lose a player, not super clean, but completely fine. They put themselves in a solid position at the opportunity edge, and then they were able to bide their time, right? They were able to just push away everyone around them and just slot in behind them, and they did that beautifully. I think they picked up 15 elims before we even realized how much they were fragging out, because they just kept pushing one side a little bit, getting a few frags, pushing one side a little bit, and able to pick up crazy numbers there, which pushes them pretty high up when you look at the total standings. But on the other side of things was France as well, who took way more space than Turkey ever did, who moved around way more than Turkey ever did, but got way less elims in the process because there just wasn't as much going on that northern side, right? Yeah. They were not really taking straight up fights. Turkey rolled up to that Churchill and really just cleaned that edge up. So very different playstyles, working out really nicely for both of these teams.
Yeah, France showing us the more methodical, the more disciplined side of things that they can play. Haven't had the opportunity to play so far, but can play as well if the need arises. I was very surprised to see so few teams actually outside of France opting to go for the northern side, because I feel like it's an easier entry, especially in terms of playing on foot and kind of creating your own luck to some degree. But so many teams just straight up sending to the city, and yeah, you touched on it. That giving Turkey a frag-heavy team the opportunity to kind of roll with it and just take all that potential of kills for themselves, and that's what they did. 15 eliminations. I think it might have even been more than that, depending on who got these frags on the initial knocks against.
I think they ended up on 15 because some of these frags were stolen away from Poland towards the end. But even there, the 2 knocks they get, right? They roll down that hillside and they completely ruin France's game, who's been in the driver's seat for all of this, who's looking at a 4v3v3. They have the man advantage, they have a good position, but they just outshoot them. They just straight up outdueled them and won their fights, and just like that, the game falls apart for France. But yeah, I mean, that's what they're showing us what they can do. I'm just hoping they're able to show us that more, because if they're going to be hot dropping a lot, if they're going to be contesting a lot, they're going to be limiting themselves quite a bit here. And we'll have to wait and see how successful that's going to turn out for them in the end, because they've shown us now what they can do, but will they deliver? We'll have to wait and see.
If you want to touch on the leaderboard situation, we'll get to that in a minute. I think after the next game, we'll have it sorted. Having such a good performance in once again in a 21-team lobby with only 5 spots being up for grabs and only a best of 12, right? Which to sum it all up means every single game needs to count. To have such a strong performance is already a pretty good indication. I want to just reiterate that. Yes, it's so very early, but from everything we've seen so far, not only the Asian Oceania qualifier, but also the qualifiers last year, we've seen that these teams that do start off strong, most of the times, also are the teams that ended strong. Now, sure, France and Turkey are favorites, but there's one team in the middle of that mix that might even be above Ukraine, maybe this round out, which is Poland, right? Second good performance. I know both of us didn't really have them on the radar. Is it too early to tell for you, especially with the way these things have gone now, to really support the theory that the Poland is also in a really good position now?
They're in a good position, for sure. I think that's not even a theory. I think that's a fact, but will they be running away with it? I'm not sure. They have not shown us what we've seen from France, what we've seen from Ukraine, Moldova to a certain extent, Turkey for sure this game. They've played well and they've put themselves in really good positions, but they haven't been crazy, right? They haven't been explosive. They haven't been mind-blowing. So we'll have to wait and see what they can do. And I'm hoping they prove us wrong. I'm hoping that they show us that they are absolutely a force to be reckoned with, but we still have to wait and see. It's a bit early to put your bets, to put your chips on the table. We have played 2 out of 6 today, 2 out of 12 in the tournament. And yeah, I'm not gonna I'm not going to just bet on the horse when the race hasn't even started yet. I think Poland's looking good right now. I think Moldova's looking good. I think Turkey's looking good. But there's plenty of teams that just haven't had the start they wanted, but could completely surprise us still.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree. I think it's too early to tell, but yeah, Poland, in my opinion, just to sum it up, yes, they've gathered a big amount of points now, and sure, that's a good start, and it might be even be such a good start that even with a couple of bad performances now, they'll still be at the top ranks. But I think that end game just last game was a good indication of why we said they're not necessarily the favorites to run away with it. Because they were just way too passive in this one. I felt like they could have taken so much more space during the entire fight between France and Turkey. Because it started when only 3 teams were left alive. They could have known this, just judging based off of the kill feed. And they still didn't make a move. And I feel like a confident team and an experienced team would have gone out there, would have grabbed angles, would have taken more space. And yeah, in the end, it worked out. So never doubt success to some degree. But I still think it would have been the better decision. So maybe that's just a small little indication of why we still wouldn't put them up there as a favorite now after the first 2 performances to grab one of these 5 desired spots.
Listen, I wholeheartedly agree, but it's like you look at what happened to France. And you look at
no.
Ay.
He has a machete.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's a mess. Is he getting away with it? I think he's getting away with it. But look what he's looking at. There's a new team right around the corner. I think it's Croatia over the top of this. Nobody's given up here. Montenegro are still looking for this as well. Not a good start for Belgium. Not what you want to be spending your time doing here when everybody else is already looting up and getting themselves into the zone. But the point I wanted to make before we got interrupted by Fast and Furious 7 is, yes, it looked way too passive, but you look at what happened to France, right? They took space, they got themselves into good position, and then Turkey rolled into them and completely folded 2 of their players. If Poland moves out of the compound, and Turkey decides to roll towards them and go crazy there, then we say, oh, well, they moved too early. They wanted too much and they got punished for it, right? So there's always a balance there. I think that looked too passive as well. But you never really know what would have happened. You never really know what would have gone down. And they do win the game in the end. So it's really hard to fault them, like you said. We'll just have to wait and see if they can string these rounds together, because so far, well, they're basically the most consistent team. It's a second place and a first place. And they have been able to string these 2 together. If they are able to continue that, I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Agreed. First fight, first contest, and Hungary's losing a player immediately against Georgia. This guy is going to be able to finish him. Triple G has gone down in the meanwhile, so there is the potential to still make use of this fight for Hungary as well. But look at this. I mean, Sideshow he's all on his lonesome towards the west-hand side of this city, at least from our point of view, southern side of the city in total. And not 4 players are making his way. They're all running towards him. Not a good look right now, but there is a couple of more shots now being put out. And with the position that Hungary has now got the opportunity to take, I want to say, it might change, because I think the way Sideshow is positioned is towards the street, and that means he's in the sidelines of his teammates. So yeah, isolating him is not going to be as easy as it looks.
I'm not 100% sure if he's in the 1 story or behind it. I feel like he's proning in the 1 story. In that case, the support's going to be a little lackluster. Yeah, he is. Okay, so that's a good off angle. It's a good angle for him to catch 1, but the support's not as good as if he was playing the street side, right? So there's a chance he does get traded here, and if he does get traded, then his game is pretty much over, because there's not going to be a res coming out as they can't cross the road. So he's committing pretty hard here, but all he really needs is 2 knocks to equalize this fight, and that's entirely possible from the situation he's in. He's just really got to land these shots. He's really got to be quick with it here.
Yeah. Tello is looking for Toros on that other side of the street, and I'm surprised Hungary hasn't crossed the street themselves yet, to kind of deny that cross back towards the church, but I can understand why to some degree. If they do that, they lose a potential And potentially another player that kind of can look over Sideshow. But as I say that, I think Turris has now crossed the street, and he's doing exactly that. Sideshow spots the first play. He takes down both of them. What a spray coming out from Sideshow. He's got potential for the third one. I think he knocked him as well. Somehow, he just took down 3 players all on his own. But Anno's been taken down in the meanwhile, so it's back to a 1-on-1. Somehow, everyone is falling.
Oh, yeah. Turos versus Triple G, but Triple G is instantly going for that res. I think Turos wants to do the same thing. That nade could be devastating. I think that's right around the corner. That's a good nade, but doesn't quite connect. Reset comes out. He tries to get a res. They're trying to get at least Unknown back on his feet. Triple G misses the nade as well. But we're going to very, very quickly going back to a 3v3 here and potentially even a 3 versus 4. This is messy. This was going down to the wire just a few seconds ago, Felix. And now we have almost all of the members back up.
Yeah, this is really messy. Hungry, unfortunately, can't really work with the frags they've gotten. And now Triple G in a perfect spot to close it out, and they will. 2 quick trades, and that was it for Georgia. That's all they needed to pick up all 4 frags and not lose a single player. Man, it came down to the wire. But somehow they still make it out alive as 4. Great stuff coming up from Georgia. They really salvaged this round, despite it looking so grim in the midst of it.
Yeah. This is exactly how hot drops can go sometimes. You feel like you've got it in the bag, and then somebody gets 3 knocks, and your game's just hanging by a thread. Georgia comes out ahead, though, this time. And now they can loot up, and they can start moving towards the circle with at least a few points in the bag, at least a bit of a breather. But we'll have to wait and see what they do with it this time. Neither of these teams have been crazy performant so far. The other teams, everybody else in the lobby, looking to try and vie for position in the center, looking to get themselves spots to play the game from. Albania, though, not looking super hot. Losing a whole lot of HP here, losing the car potentially. Not the start you want to have either.
No. We said they were one of the less experienced teams, but still a very active scene in terms of PUBG Mobile Esports. They are always there when it comes to community tournaments, when it comes to just a lively scene as well. And also when it comes to supporting each other. Albania just being one of the most supportive scenes there is in their own kind of region. Making sure every Albania player is being shared on social media and so on and so forth. So they're really proud of their heritage. They want to make it known. And obviously, they want to represent their nation here to the best of their abilities at the IESF World Esports Championship qualifiers. So far, not really happening, but obviously, we've only seen a single ERANGEL game. So no worries, you've got plenty of more time to represent Albania.
That is a shift and a half. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That is going north. Everybody that's lost the vehicle is mighty unhappy about that right now. France in the dead middle of it with an amazing amount of space around them. And you could even see Georgia there towards the north just coming in on that edge and suddenly having a ton of free space. Montenegro and Belgium, this kicked off before they even had loot. This was a fight that happened before they even started playing the game, and it's still continuing. Now, push is pretty aggressive. Heaven finds 1, finds 2. And just like that, Belgium out of the runnings, 5 elims for Montenegro.
5 elims. I think that's the best start that Montenegro has had so far. And the qualifiers showing us that they're also able to frag out quite decently, despite lesser experience, I guess, between all of these players. Ostinho is trying to get some long-distance shots in, but I think Azerbaijan is going to have to rotate past that without really engaging. They've had troubles now staying alive as all 4 in the early phases. And it looks like they're just continuing with the aggression they've put out. Really weirdly, once again, it hasn't really worked out for them, but they're continuing to be aggressive in phase 1. And maybe even phase 2, so maybe that's just their game plan. Maybe they're just rolling with it. Despite that not working, the confidence is there to try it all over again.
Look, I respect it. I think 2 games is not where you throw the playbook out the window. They are trying to find the fights. They see fights in front of them. They are trying to punish. Getting yourself a few points and weakening teams around you is something that's super worth doing. Czech Republic now firing off against Turkey as they reposition themselves towards the museum, the trophy hall, and maybe even taking shelter. That's a very classic spot for a Turkish team to be in, as I alluded to earlier, the coaches of this team, I've seen them, I faced them in the PUBG PC scene, and this is exactly where you would expect their team to play in the PC region as well. So, not surprised to see Turkey here. 2 eliminations picked up nice and early. As Silas makes his way on back, victoriously emerges from the battle and brings home the loot where Loxy's already waiting.
Good stuff coming out from Turkey. We said they have amazing support in the form of a Pocolib. You know him especially well. And they have proven to us that that assumption wasn't without cause. Once again, 15 frags in their last game. I'm not even sure if that's going to be broken by any team in the entirety of this qualifier. Because that is
I'm betting it will be.
You're betting it will be? I mean, just judging by how many players we have playing, yes, it seems likely, but also it doesn't as a result of that. Because, yes, sure, there's more people to frag out, but also way more potential for partying. So it kind of equals out, in my opinion.
Oh, it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just thinking we've seen teams, I think especially France and Turkey right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Moldova pull off as well. Crazy numbers, or a Ukraine. We'll see what they are able to do. Now, new fight for Montenegro. They picked up 5 elims nice and early. Now there's breaches there versus Croatia. And the space they have to work with is very, very limited. Random is trying to do it all by himself. The AK is not going to come out victorious. And it's a quick and early end for them. 3 for Croatia, as they have Germany rolling on in. And it's looking like they're going for another fight right there and then. They're not moving away from this. Blue cooks the nade. He's got Zero right in front of him. Zero might have no idea about this, but there's the trades coming in out. This is messy, Felix. Yeah,
this is really messy. Zero now trying to delay that fight, at least for the time being. Throws out a couple of nades. Good team play, actually. Everyone's kind of been throwing that nade, but it's only one nade that really did damage, and that was the one for Croatia, but they've now realized where he is, where he's positioned. Nade across the ridgeline. He somehow makes it out alive, and Gia, who's found the first frag, has to bandage up. And look at this, they do not have the meds for it, actually. Zero rotates off into the distance, is trying to reposition as Croatia is now moving outside of the compound. Look, Blue was the only real player close up. If they don't take him down, I think it might be a problem, and I think that's the best shot for them. They will. That is so important. Croatia losing the first player now means Germany has got lots more space to play off of.
But look at the compound. He's in there, but also trying to bandage on up with Majid right on top of him, trying to hold this down. Croatia finally lose 1, but the entry is not good enough yet for Germany. They have to go deeper, and they have to get inside the circle, and they want to keep cars as well. So it's a tricky one for them. I'm not sure if Croatia is even going to stick around. We saw them repositioning there a little bit in the garage building. Maybe they want to leave this one as well. Serbia, on the other hand, they've lost 1 as well. Maxa out of the picture for now. And it's another team that's in phase 3 right now, but they are not shying away from a reposition here. They're already getting the cars ready.
Yeah. Interesting to see what Germany is doing now. They have grouped back towards the eastern side. They've unfortunately lost Hisk now. I thought he was alive actually a second ago. Somehow he must have been taken down when he tried to exit the building, and there was one player definitely inside of the mentioned area. But they're trying to make their way inside now, just past the mentioned region. It is France on the other side. Some good shots could potentially secure them a knock as well, because these cars have been taken down very low, but I think that distance might just be a little bit too far now. Straight for the circle center, hoping to find any kind of open space, and I think that might just be a ridgeline that they have found just now. Circle works perfectly in their favor, but I think, never mind me, I think Zero has just been taken down. Germany struggling to find any kind of space.
I like the idea. I like the approach. They're sending it before the circle pops, and when it pops, when it shows us where we're going, they're right in the middle of their rotation, so they can be super early to grab some of these spots, but not the best spot they have. I think it's a spot you can survive in theory, but not when Turkey has this much space. Now, Zero wants to get away from it, thinks he can find something better as Turkey gets out the res, and he's just trying to go for a small reposition towards the road there. He's right below the poor cameraman. We can't get behind him. Georgia versus Poland on these yellows as well is another fight that, yes, it might happen, but neither of these teams are even close to the circle, Felix. They all just have to go.
Yeah, and let's be honest, there's not really much space towards the northern side to really find yourself an entry with. I mean, even if you close out this fight and you do it fast, realistically, 30, 40 seconds, how do you go off of that? I mean, where do you rotate afterwards? It's majority of the new circle is open space. And all the hardcover compounds have been taken already. I think by some of these first teams arriving there, even Turkey is now trying to find anything around these ridgelines. So it's going to be really tough. And I think Tulika is on that exact quest that we just talked about, finding any kind of open space. And you can tell, everything is taken. I don't think there's a way in for him at all. He's trying to go towards the shack at Albania. That shack would have actually been open, but I think Albania would have just flushed him out sooner than later, actually, with the way the circle's positioned. So no real chance for any to rotate in. Everyone who's trying to gather any position now, I think is going to have to fight for it.
Tough times for most of these teams. Turkey already picking up 4, and we saw Ukraine going down there. We see lots of teams struggling on the north. That minimap looked absolutely mental there for a second. Moldova as well. They're looking for an entry. Poland fallen by the wayside. France has something to say in this as well, but I feel like they're maybe in the best position here, Felix. I'm not sure, but they've definitely lost. I think they've lost one member as well. So it's a messy, it's a bloody northern side, but there's going to be even more teams taking casualties here. You can see that they just don't have any space. Folly just wants to take something for his team that they can reset in, that they can chill in, and he's not succeeding at it. I think V8 has something there, but there's more and more teams coming, and there's not a whole lot of space.
No, just no space to really find any kind of footing, and you can tell that the teams that take it a little bit slower are friends in Turkey, actually, and kind of playing a little bit slower, smarter, more methodical might just be working out a tiny bit better instead of just sending it in and trying to force any kind of fights. At least for Turkey and France right now, the northern side seems to work out quite well. They've found themselves spots to at least survive in. I think winning potential is going to be way higher on Turkey's side at the very least with that big split, but France obviously could still kind of fight around their northern side, and especially Moldova there for a second, flush out all these players towards the western side as well. The pathing is definitely there as an opportunity to gather more kill points.
It's just
gonna
crazy.
Be tough.
Look at this map and look at how much space Turkey has taken and how much they've pushed away everyone else, and how everyone else has been pushed into that western side. How they let Turkey do that with them, right? So this has been super beneficial for the Turkish squad, and they've been rewarding themselves with 6 kills already, but they can just keep on going. If they don't make a big misstep here and they don't get surprised by a team breaching, they can close out so many kills on that western side and keep teams from moving towards their east at all.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Turkey showing us why they are one of the most experienced teams, knowing that every single position they deny on that eastern side, 2 phases before the shift even happened, is going to be a position that potentially another team would take, and obviously through the denies, just not going to be there. Look, the space Turkey has right now, and the kill potential has been worked throughout the first phases. That's the big part. So you always have to think phases in advance, and Turkey's doing it to perfection. I mean, essentially to perfection. There's not another space I would have taken, not a different position I would have taken at all. These are exactly the positions you kind of want to deny in everyone to gather control towards the western side. And look at what they're doing. Now that they need to move out of, they realize kill potential is towards the northern side, not only because the teams are fighting there, but also because France is there, and that's their direct competition.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. Now the nades are coming out. France is realizing this is just not a thing. This is not a position they want to stay in. Victor is going to maybe try and get his way down to the shack. Hopes he gets there. The tire gets popped. That's a whole lot of pressure. And that is Albania saying no. Good bunch of frags again for France. They managed to just take away the points when they had a chance. Georgia naded out of the shack. And this might be the first big game for the Bulgaria squad here. It's looking like they have a good bunch of control of their western side now. Sure, the zone has gone away once again, but they've stayed true in this, and they've stayed alive at least.
Yeah, good stuff for Bulgaria. I think it's been 2, maybe 3 teams actually they had to fight off for this ridge, but now it's going to be a whole different caliber with Turkey sitting right in front of them. It's only a 3-man. That's the good news, and I think Turkey has committed a little bit too far to this, because look where the last player is. They would still have a spot in the circle. They do not need to fight this. But they still do. They want to deny Bulgaria any kind of space, and they've lost a player now as well. So I'll take it back, actually. It is an equalized situation, but still, it could very well fall apart for Turkey if they're not too careful here.
I think the main risk for them is yes, sure, they could get knocked here, but even just a team could realize what is happening, right? A team around them could just realize, hey, these guys have just shifted all the players to the north. A team coming out of shelter, for example, that just looks over the top and sees, well, I think there was 2 guys in there before, and now 1 more has driven out, so there should just be a solo, and then you have a chance to fill that gap and take that space for yourself. But so far, it's just working out beautifully. And so far, they're doing what they do best, and I can't blame them for it. They're fragging the hell out.
Unbelievable. I mean, they just took control of that original like it was absolutely nothing. And you can see why Turkey's a favorite to grab one of these qualification spots. I mean, pinpoint perfection on how to rotate, how to keep all 4 players left alive. And they did all that with Wild still holding one of the most, I want to say, influential spots in this entire circle. You can play these ridge lines to your south, running out of this compound, or just get a circle shift like this and don't even need to move, right? So they have everything and more. And that's just solely due to the strategy that they played in this round. So massive shout out to Turkey playing it to perfection.
It's also, we talked about it, right? We said it is a bit of a different skill set to play in these lobbies. And it feels like their approach right now is to not give a whole lot of respect to the rest of the lobby. If you were respecting everybody that's around you, you would just be saying, well, maybe we got an Azerbaijan 4-man breaching us, and then our game's over, so we can't risk this. But Turkey right now says, well, even if it happens, we should be just fine. Now it's 3 of Azerbaijan who sent it all the way over there. 1 still around here. Striker tries to get out with the S12K. The nade's right on his feet. I'm not sure if the car's going to save him. Yes, it does. But it's looking dicey. But there you go. Azerbaijan not actually breaching the compound. Just going to the wooden shack. Gives Turkey plenty of time to come back down, reset, and take the next fight from here.
Silas just realized there's Albanias in the distance shooting at him. And unless that team is really dealt with, or at least put back into plays, you can't really pressure Azerbaijan as much. Their sidelines are just too good. Now the smokes are raining out. And once more, they don't need to fight this, but they still want to. They want to clear out their edges. They want to take control of this round. And there's some good stuff going on from Belarus as well. I thought it was really cheeky putting the car there and letting it explode, but unfortunately, there still was just about enough room for them to make it outside. And now Turkey comes into play again. 1 player's already been taken down. It is still 3 players left alive. And look at this. Turkey is doing so much damage without even having all players focused on them.
Yeah, this is just the sprays are coming out, the utils coming out. If they have 1 more good nade here, that could be Azerbaijan done. That could be just Clutch left alive on the tree. Now he's taken down to 1 HP. There's the knock. Silas is not stopping. Finally, someone puts the rest of them. Turkey's on a tear. And yes, we were talking about, does their kill record get broken? I think they might just break it this game. If they continue here, they should be wiping out Azerbaijan. Wow. That's 5 nades. That's 5 nades in his inventory. He can just let it rip, and I'm sure he's going to find something. At least a few confirms here. They should get Silas back on his feet as well. And if he can just land 1 good nade, Azerbaijan would be done. And Turkey would be looking good to pick up another 15.
He's not throwing these nades just yet. Now there goes the 3rd one. In the meanwhile, they have rested Silas back up. Azerbaijan should have really gone hard for that flash, but just wasn't able to do it. They obviously used all their utility as well on making it happen. I think that would have been their best option of somehow staying alive, maybe having a little bit more survivability, maybe hoping Albania is gonna pressure Turkey just about enough for them to have a little bit more breathing room, but it just didn't happen. And there they go. Turkey is still alive as fought. And yeah, you said maybe that kill record is going to be broken again. It looks likely, doesn't it? Yes, they haven't gotten the kills from Azerbaijan, but it looks very likely at the moment. 11 frags already, just 4 more being needed. And the way Turkey's played so far, we can, I think, all expect and I guess almost calculate that Turkey is going to get more.
Someone's going to break that record. Hold that thought. This might get a little dicey. Nobody's looking for Spain. Circle's about to close on in. If 1 knock comes out here, if the opening doesn't have to come from Bedita, I think he can do this. No nades, no first aids though. This is going to be tricky as hell. And it is in the end Azerbaijan who spot him. So he doesn't get help from across the server. He gets taken out, but I think it's fair play to wait there because you're not going to win the 1v4 with half HP, no util. But maybe if Spain gets knocked, maybe if 1 or 2 of them gets knocked, you can finish off the other 4. So I like the trigger discipline, but it wasn't meant to be.
Wasn't meant to be in this game. Czech Republic, in the meanwhile, has stood strong in that compound. They've gotten quite a few circles, but they've also not been caught off guard in that compound. That's kind of the biggest thing that you need to do here. Just if you, we're talking about it so often today already, right? Making use of the rounds that you do get. I wouldn't say gifted, but that you do have the opportunity to win, and that's their round. That is the one round out of a best of 12 that you will have once in a while. So they got to make it work right now. It doesn't look like they have, at least in terms of utility and medic stuff, all too much in their inventories anymore. This might be a problem, though. Oh, that is a triple nade! Silas puts them all down! Wow! And that is immediately, in a matter of literally milliseconds, 15 frags being reached. I did not expect that to land as good as it did, but it did. And Turkey has now eliminated the direct competition.
Oh, and look at that. They're sending for the compound, and at the same time, they have a spoiler towards Albania. They're doing everything at the same time right now. They're not really sure which way they're going, but every way they're going, the frags are raining down. Now, Albania tries to make the send, but where is Mano going? No chance. Loxy puts him down, and that's already... I think that's number 16 right there, and then Felix. That is another record performance, and these guys are absolutely on fire. They had a shy game one, a slow game one, and now they're just rolling over this lobby. They're folding it on every single side. The compound's getting taken, the dip's getting killed. Spain is just trying to prone in the field and just letting Turkey do their thing here. Look at this, Albania's out as well.
Yeah, this is disastrous also for Ukraine, because Ukraine is going to have to contest them almost every single game now, right? I mean, we saw it happen already. And I think it's not going to change in the other maps. I talked to the coach. He said they are going to contest this and continue to contest this. But if Turkey gets a win now as well, and they already have 17 frags, then at what point does the contest just not matter for one side anymore? And for Turkey right now, points-wise, it really doesn't. And at that point, you got to be scared to some degree.
It's a problem as well, because yes, you're contesting the team, but if they're going to the World Esports Cup anyways, do you want to be contesting there? Do you want when there's big money on the line, when there's actually a huge prize pool, do you really want to be contesting there? I'm not so sure if that's the thing, but that's a thing for another day. I think right now it's the Turkey show. They're up to 19. They're about to go to 20 elims. And yes, they finally lost a player. The poor man they left behind to hold their back the whole game. One elim only. But they have shown this lobby that they're laying claim to this whole map here and to this whole circle. And poor Czech Republic have the man advantage now, but the momentum is so crazy in the favor of Turkey.
Yeah, it really is. We've seen anything out of these guys. It's that they do not throw these types of rounds away. 20 frags. We started with 84. They have eliminated a third of the lobby. And my math is completely wrong. They've eliminated a quarter of the lobby, and that is still impressive. It's still very impressive. Quarter of the lobby in a 20. I don't even know what to say about this. We have 21 teams, and they have eliminated 20 players. And this isn't just any kind of lobby. These are some of the best players out of each specific country coming into this race, and they could break the record even further. 24 frags is potentially possible for Turkey. Let's see if they do it.
24 frags. That is getting close to that third, you know? Then we're getting into territory where the math starts making sense, at least for a 64-player lobby. Not so much for an 80-player lobby, but it's not our job to do the maths. It's just our job to be amazed at what Turkey have done here. Stage 9 is now in full effect, and it will be closing on in. They're not 100% sure where all these players are. You can see they're still scanning the back a little bit. Silas will have to get off his roof fairly early on in this fight. And then I'd say the angles are fairly even here, especially with that smoke in place. There's not so much Wild can do. There's not so much Loxy can do. And there is a chance for Czech Republic to take this one, but they'll have to figure out how to play this together and how to not get caught off guard alone. Because you take a few 1v1s versus Turkey, I feel like they're going to run away with it right now.
Yeah. If there's anyone you do not want to meet in this round right now, it is got to be Turkey. They have not shown us any weakness in their game. Yes, they have lost a player, but honestly, with the way that they had to kind of go through... Oh, that could be massive. It is the first knock. Sanos takes him down. And that is now a 3v3. And they're not making a move based off of this. This is interesting. Turkey does not want to make a move off of this knock, despite knowing that a man disadvantage is going to continue being that 4v3.
they don't have any util anymore either. They've expanded everything they had, right? So they have to just slow this down a little bit. But that's a dirty angle. The tiny crack in the wall there, the tiny crack in the shack was enough to do a whole lot of damage to one and fully knock the other. Now the trades are coming out. That's the spoiler player eliminated. They still haven't gotten the res. Good util coming on back, but Silas with the S12K around the corner. Surely
No
a threat to be
way.
reckoned with. That's good util coming out, though. Not a whole lot of HP left. Have to get a first nade out. Can Teflon get another nade out? That's looking good as well. That's a good bunch of damage. 3v2, about to be a 3v3. This is still doable for the Czech Republic.
Oh, Silas pops around the back. Silas takes down one. I think it was only one at that, but he did so much more damage. Turkey looking to break records all around at the IESF Esports Championship qualifiers, and they do. It is Turkey once more, raining through this lobby, plowing through it, and there's no other way around it. Turkey now look like they have qualified already with just 3 games being played, because can anyone top this at this point? I do not think so. 24 frags for Turkey in the 3rd game of today. And I think at this point, you got to agree with me. I don't think there's anyone breaking this one. Unbelievable. Oh, my goodness.
I mean, that's just insane, right? I think we're going to look at the leaderboard, right? And we're going to look at the leaderboard before this match. And you're going to see that the first place on that leaderboard before match 3 had less points than what Turkey got in this game. That's just mind-blowing. We're going to look at the leaderboard. Keep in mind, this is match 2. We are having a few problems with the leaderboard and the API.
No, that was completely fine. Every team is, I mean, that was completely fine.
Every relevant team was on that leaderboard.
Every relevant team was on there. Turkey is, I mean, unbelievable. There we have it.
That's after match 2. 32 points on France. 34 points this game for Turkey. That's just mental scenes, honestly.
Yeah, someone during that game, and we had plenty of Turkish fans in the chat. Shout out to all of you, by the way. Massive PUBG Mobile Esports scene as well. I mean, they, I guess, before the last game, actually, before the last World Championship, obviously, they were the reigning champions as well in PUBG Mobile Esports, in the entire PUBG Mobile Esports scene, obviously, with S2G taking home that win at the Global Championship. So, goes to show you, I mean, it is a massive scene, but them coming out swinging like this against all the other countries, that's a completely different story. And 24, that essentially means you eliminate everyone that you meet and more. And we've seen that as well. Turkey went out of their way, and I don't think there was a single other team that did this up until this point, not even France, to the degree that we saw Turkey doing it in this game. Go out of their way to clean up edges they have no business being in. That northern edge, they rotated out of it, they cleaned it, even though it wasn't even inside the safe zone anymore. That's how crazy it was. So France, my goodness, seem to be... Are they qualified already, Tobo?
I'm not so sure. I don't think it's over yet, but I think they will qualify if they continue playing anything like that, right? I think so. France is really, really strong and really, really consistent right now, but Turkey just ran away with it in the last 2. So we're going to show you the updated leaderboard as soon as we can. There's been a few issues there. Admins are working very hard to fix them. But I'm sure that Turkey is first after this game, right? That there's nothing in my mind that's doubting that. They have just put themselves in the driver's seat. And like you said, completely different game to what France has been playing, where France is putting themselves in really good spots to take fights. And they're winning those fights consistently. And they're getting almost double-digit points every single game. But they're not going as hard. And they're not going as crazy at all, like we just seen from Turkey. So I can't wait to see that leaderboard. I think they've just absolutely run away with it.
I think so too. We will be heading into a quick break before, once again, we will be taking a quick look at the leaderboard. But yeah, quick break. I think we need to cool down. I think every Turkish fan out there needs to cool down. Watch back the round, even because it was that beautiful. So once again, we'll see you back in a couple of minutes.